What do you mean? The headphone strat worked. I can't believe it. I'm like, all right. I played with headphones yesterday, and my consistency at the pre-drop was godlike. I was slamming it in. And then I put on the headphones today at some point because I'm like, well, it worked last time. And then after just a few more attempts, just like 20 or so attempts, it's just like, oh wow, I'm at the drop again. And then, oh wow, I made it past the dual ship. And then I made it past that mini ship part. Right before, a bit after the dual ship. The first mini ship after the dual ship. I don't know if there's actually another. I do that. And I'm just like, alright, new best for today. Let's see what happens. I do 85 first try, dude. I did it first try, and I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my god. 2,094 attempts. Honestly, it's probably closer to like, let's see. I did a lot of like random practice runs, like way before. Like I had done like maybe 9 circles, not even. Like I hadn't done a hard demon yet, and I just did practice runs to see what it was like. And so that was like 600, so it's probably honestly closer to like, I mean, there is the learning part of it. I still knew generally what the level was like, and I had semi-learned certain parts, so I'd say this is like, I'd say like 1,700 roughly. My first insane demon. I'd say it's an insane. I mean, it's iconic. I don't know. I don't like when it comes to levels like this. I'm like, I don't want to raid against insane. I'm not crazy. Wendy should say an insane just because it's iconic. That's my thing. I beat an insane demon. I didn't really click it until I put it in the folder. I did that. I did that. That's my 100th demon. I did like the level. Issues I had. So everything until like the 20-something% ship is annoyingly inconsistent at first. At first, that part, it's so annoying. But at some point, you just kind of get a feel for it. There's this one part during the first ball where you hit a blue pad, and then you have to like immediately hit a blue orb. I hated that at first, but at some point, I just did it like super consistently. The only part I'd say is inconsistent to some degree is like 2% when you have to jump over the gear and then onto the slope and then jump off the slope. That part, it just doesn't work sometimes. Like if you jump too late over the gear, you don't have enough slope momentum to actually clear the gap, and so you just hit the spike, and it's dumb. 20-something% ship is like one of the hardest parts of the level by far. But at some point, you get a feel for it. Like, at first, I was like, this is impossible. I'm never getting this consistently. But at some point, you get it consistently, and you're like, wow. The wave after, unironically, killed me more at some point. It's just very uncomfortable. And there's these, like, 2 mini spikes at the end of it, which make it so much more tighter all of a sudden. I guess it's to help with going into the UFO, but it just makes it harder. The UFO after isn't hard, but you have to, like, depending on how you enter it, you want to, like, readjust your clicks slightly so that you essentially line up on the path that you want to be on. Because if you aren't, and you just keep, and you do, like, your specific click pattern, then you can just die because you're, like, shifted or something. After that, the cube duel / ball duel, you get a feel for those ball parts where you have to just swap places to cross the spike on the top and the bottom. You get a feel for those eventually. At least I did. And at some point, I was still scary. Like, I could still be like, yeah, I could very well die here, but it was mostly fine. And then after that, you have the dual ship. And the dual ship is annoying. So first, it's just awkward to sort of fly into the portals with the orbs. Second of all, you have to hit the orbs a bit late, because if you hit them early, there's just this spike that protrudes right there, and you'll just slam into it. And it's very weird too, because you don't just want to click this. You want to click and hold it until you bump your head against the ceiling or whatever, and you want to immediately let go in order to get into the next part. After that, it's mostly fine. It's just like the end is very weird, because you hit the orb and then you hit this platform, and you want to still hold just until right after you leave the platform, so both ships are like straight in the gap. Because that part was just very weird. After that, you got some basic timings and then like a straight fly. And then you reach after that straight fly. It's got some timings and then some like spikes, but then you have my least favorite part of the level. So you're a ship and you hit the pad and you go through that like arc of spikes, and then you hit the orb. Twice I died because I hit this orb early and I bonked my head against the ceiling, and a million times in practice when I hit the orb right, I just died because, so you have to get through that gap, but the issue is there's an enlarging portal right there. And that is a massive issue. I call it enlarging. It's really just normal size portal. And that is a massive issue because you hit that portal while you're between the spikes. And so sometimes the second you hit the portal, you die because you grew and suddenly your hitbox is in the spikes. And that part is so terrible. I hate 85% with a passion. I think it sucks. I never died to it normally in a run. Twice I died because I hit the orb early and hit my head on the ceiling right where a spike was. I don't even know how I did that once, let alone twice. And then the time I actually got a real attempt on it, I passed it, which is insane to me because I was like 30% consistent with it in runs. I'm shocked. After that, the level's pretty easy. The scariest part after that is like the very first click in the duel, because you have to click like on the edge of blocks, and that part could just kill me, but I didn't die to it. After that, it's very easy. A bit of a straight fly there, which was scary because on nerves, straight fly is impossible. It doesn't matter how big it is. Flying on nerves is impossible. And then you have the 97 jump. It's mostly synced, and you can kind of just, you get to see it, the sort of like, I don't know what to call it. I'm just going to call it a spike thing. You can see it as you go into that section, and then it disappears. And so not only can you know where to jump based on sync, but you can also just kind of like know, okay, it's here and moving at this rate. And then you just kind of like know. You just kind of know. You kind of just, you look at it and you're like, okay, it'll probably be about here in now. And then you sort of like, you see the invisible object without actually seeing it. It's the best way I can describe it. You just kind of know where it is. And so yeah, it's a fun level. I think it just gets annoying due to like choke points. I think main choke points that I encountered were that ship with all the portals and whatnot in Straight Fly. That part was a massive choke point. The end of the wave right after is just super annoying. I guess 2%, but who cares about a 2% choke point? Not really much of a choke point at that point. And then you have, well, 85% massive choke point. What else? I feel like after that, the duel is mostly safe, in my opinion. I think the duel ship definitely has a choke point. That first warp click feels like is a massive choke point, in my opinion. Not massive, but I feel like it's something, because it's just very hard compared to a lot of other stuff. And then I think that's about it. Not to say the rest of the level doesn't have tricky parts, but I wouldn't call them choke points. It feels really nice to have done this level. I do like it, but it does still have some really annoying parts. Luckily, in the end, I died a bunch, like, late in the run. Like, past the dual ship, I've died, like, at least 10 times, probably. I died to 85 twice, and then 83 once. So I died far a lot, but it never truly, like, tilted me. I got annoyed sometimes, but that was mainly due to my computer lagging. And so, just, like, that lag is something that is unconsolable for my rage. Like, if my game lags and I die because of it, or something like that, it just makes me mad, because that wasn't my fault. Overall fun level, just could get annoying.